Good evening, everyone. This
Evening.
That's the applicant.
was December 18th, 2025, at 7 p.m. This meeting, I'm calling the meeting of the Village of Homer Planning Board to order at 7:02 p.m. First item on the agenda is site plan review for a change of use for hair salon to a sub sandwich shop at 104 Northwest Street, Unit B, tax map 66.49-01-11.000. It's in a B2 general business zone. For the CEO referral. To open a sub sandwich shop, and the applicant. The owner is here and the applicant is online. Any comments to make on your presentation?
No, not unless anybody has questions.
Mr. Burlingame, do you have any questions or any comments you want to make?
No, sir.
Okay, we've had it's gone to, county planning for review. Because it's within 500 feet of State Route 381, which is a state highway. County staff has determined the request is both technically adequate, has no state or county-wide impact. They're returning it without county planning review. Board members, anything you? Any questions on this? Any discussion? Yeah, this. Type this is. Just require a short environment. No, so, okay.
I guess we should ask about parking, remember. If there's any issues with parking, is there enough spaces there?
Yeah.
There's no eat in, it's just
It would be a takeout.
takeout, so,
Yeah,
I
so,
mean,
There's
it's so.
quite a large parking
there's a
area.
large parking area there.
I would entertain a motion to approve the site plan. As submitted.
Motion.
Paula. and- Motion made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion made and carried. It's approved, thank you.
Mr. Burlingame, he's free to go if he'd like.
Okay, yeah, Mr. Burlingame, you can leave if you don't want to stay and listen to the rest of our.
I thank you. You guys have a happy holidays.
You
too. You too.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay, next item is. Site plan review for. DM3 Portland LLC. 911 North Main Street. Tax map numbers of 66.75-01-28.000. 66.75-01-29.00 and 66.75-01-33.00. Central Business District, and it is a Sherman House Hotel and Spa site plan review. And we had a public hearing December 1. Now we're prepared to go through the seeker on this.
Well, I can give you, if you don't mind, give you a little bit of an update, short of doing this on my own tonight. Our lead architect, Paul Ainsley, who's usually here, is in bed since Monday with the flu. So he was not able to be here tonight. I will also tell you this, we did have a Zoom conference with SHPO, the State Historic Preservation Office. Obviously, they don't want to see the project fail. They have us wanting to do a little bit of adjustment to the roof line, which we're going to do. And of course, anything that SHPO requires, we have to do. So we know that. And then we had another discussion with New York State Economic Development. And that was pretty positive, basically, just wanting to know where we stood with the project itself. And we told them we're at the site plan stage. So, anything, other questions up here I could try to answer or go from there.
Okay. So we're ready to do the seeker. We did have. So we do have a resolution from county planning. We have first. We could have had a chance to look at that.
Yeah, we were at the county planning, Don, and they, were very positive. And I guess whatever, I think there's only about 4 or 5 conditions or recommendations that made, and obviously, we know we have to follow those.
Right. Okay.
So, if there are no questions, the applicant has certainly, made presentations over the last several meetings. They could answer any questions, but if we don't have any further questions, then the next step would be to conduct the environmental review under seeker. And there are environmental assessment forms in the board packet that guide that review. So is everyone comfortable that we're at the stage to move forward with decision making there?
This Department of Environmental Conservation report. I mean, that sets sort of a stage for us maybe to look at things, to be aware of things like water impact and stuff like that. Is that correct? So, do we had any questions about that report? Should we ask to be familiar with it before we move ahead? The seeker.
Yes, that was a letter issued on November 13th by the DEC with various different topics of consideration. The applicant on November 25th responded to that report. I don't know if everybody's got a copy of that. They responded to each of those issues that were raised. And if you wanted to go through those one by one, we certainly could. But documentation is in the record. It was discussed a little bit also at the public hearing.
Yeah, I'm not aware of that responses to answering to the issues. I didn't see anything that I'm very concerned about, but says here is first for clarification, if a permit is not required, please note the project sponsor is still responsible for ensuring that the work shall not pollute any stream or waterway. What is it meant by the project sponsor? The owner? I mean, the applicant?
That's us. And we're obviously,
Right,
that's us, and
right.
we're well aware that,
Right.
if we don't need a permit, can't pollute the water.
And they do have an erosion protection plan built into the design to help prevent pollution from going in. And of course, if during construction, there's any kind of pollution detected, that can be dealt with through that process.
Yeah, we'll be required to notify the appropriate authorities if anything like that happens.
I got no questions about that. Yes, this background information is all related to understanding whether there is impact or not, but like the police talking about traffic, correct? Like this is the background work that's needed to understand what we need to do. With the comments from Community person, okay.
I have a question about, is Arbor Flat still moving forward?
That's my other client, yeah.
Okay, so when they did the, when the water superintendent assessed whether or not the, village was gonna be able to handle the impact on like water and sewer, did he consider the Arbor Flats project?
I don't know, I mean, the Arbor Flats project right now is still, he asked me, is it still viable? Yeah. I know the last I knew, there was some issues that were getting the utilities all set up. And is it gonna happen in the next few months? No,
Which one is Arbor Flats?
one up here.
North Main.
D Street.
The like condo development,
Where?
we.
Oh, the big one all the way in the end, had a different name before? Yeah, North Main.
Yeah. Like, I'm just wondering if after, it sounds like that's gonna, like, maybe a few more years off.
Well, certainly, I can't say it's gonna be
Yeah.
a few more years, but certainly not anything that's gonna be happening in here in the next 3 months, and that actually is gonna be an issue for Arbor Flats at this point.
Well, and the letter, I don't have it right in front of me, but that letter was issued, I think, within the last couple, 1 to 2 weeks, right? So
From the village area.
from the water department, right?
And it's saying the same thing if it was, well, vice versa at this point.
If that Arbor Flats project had already been approved in the past.
Yes.
I mean, I think the natural assumption is that the water department has considered the entire capacity of the system when it issued its letter. But I don't think anyone specifically asked that particular question of them.
Do we receive this plan in the packet? I can't make heads or tails out of it, what's all the
We
red?
got a bigger one.
What,
We got a bigger one a while back.
what is all the red?
Do we have a larger copy? You still have that?
He has one, lawyer has one on the desk.
Yeah, we've seen it, yeah,
You've seen it all before.
the red.
I do have a question. So it says for the hours of operation, is that during construction? It says 6 AM?
I think what's gonna happen much the same way as it goes up here
I probably
naturally.
do, but.
If they're gonna do 6 AM,
Looking.
it's not gonna be outside.
Okay.
I'm gonna try
Okay,
to use.
cool.
You know, just the same thing that they did when they were building the bakery, they were building the restaurant and everything.
Okay.
They're gonna be here at 6 o'clock, but they're not gonna be outside.
Okay.
They'll be doing what they're doing
This one,
inside.
this is on all red, so I mean, obviously I've seen that, yes, so I wonder why I was.
So I guess I have a question about this, because my biggest concern is I totally want this project to happen. I'm not saying that I don't. I'm just saying that I cannot vision people coming out, that they're coming out onto Wall Street. I work part-time at Bev's. I know the traffic coming out of Bev's when I leave. And I can't imagine if there's something going on. And I do see that there's something here from Chief Pittman saying that he's recommending to the mayor that there's only gonna be a turn right there. So he can recommend it to the mayor, but that doesn't mean that the mayor is gonna say that that's the case. So I guess I have issues with that little, that's not a very wide street. You're gonna have all these people, you have a wedding going on there, you have a laundromat across the street, you got tenants that live in both buildings on the other side. I'm just really worried about this, like how this is gonna flow and look like in a congested time.
Isn't that the no right turn thing?
That was the no.
Left turn.
No left turn.
But he's recommending it, it doesn't mean that Mayor Clune has to say, he's recommending it, it doesn't
We
mean
can
that
put it as
that's
a
gonna be the
contingency.
thing,
Put it in.
you know?
Well,
Actually, we can't because it's off-site. I've been told that it's off-site and we cannot put a contingency on the site plan for something that happens off-site.
so the conditions are on
She's
the
gonna
applicant to satisfy. And if we condition something for the applicant to satisfy that they can't do, because the applicant doesn't have the authority to extend no left turn sign on that street. then it's really not a valid condition that we can put on the applicant.
Well, I mean.
Can it be at the
we-
front of the building? Wait a minute,
So
instead of, because it's going, oh my word, please,
the entrance to the hotel
yes,
is gonna have a portico. And it's gonna go to the back of the building.
that back up.
So they're saying that that's gonna be a one-way, but I don't know that they're gonna put up a one-way sign there. So you can go out that way too,
Wait,
but
oh,
That's not the way he described it when he was here.
that,
He described it that it was gonna go like this and you would come around and exit through Wall Street.
yep,
Where the house that was torn down, from my vision.
Yeah.
That's how they're coming out.
So not the art parking lot.
he did say that, but he also said there's not going to be, we don't have to put up a signage that says this is only one way.
Okay, well, that sounds like even more of a mess then. Then
I can tell you what Dan's, you see what Dan's done.
Yeah, yeah.
We're not gonna make it a mess.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not
mean,
saying
we're
that,
not
I'm
going
just,
to make this.
I never once thought that Dan is gonna make anything a mess. Or ever
Yeah.
once. I'm just saying that that's a little tiny road. An alleyway, if you will, it's you know what I mean, for all of this stuff to be coming off of.
But they
And
can exit the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
They can come out Water Street.
They can not walk.
well, we're not controlling that though. I mean, it's just like an option. It depends how they set it up. We can make that as a contingency that they have to come out there. I mean, but you really would want to split it. You wouldn't want everybody having to come out onto Main Street. I'm a little confused about the hurdle, we can't mandate that the village makes this turn the way we say, but we ask applicants to have to, as a condition, that they have to get permission from DEC to do this and to do that. Likewise, can't we ask the applicant to get this established, if this turning is only this way or that way? And by the way, I've got to mention that like, at Walgreens, you know how you come out of the exit? Well, I don't know if you're familiar with Walgreens, but you can't turn in certain directions because and lots of properties are like that. Somebody has mandated on those site plan reviews that you can only make a right turn. You can't go left.
Yeah. And that's frequent when you're coming out of the site itself,
Yeah,
to have a prohibition on left or right turn.
this is the turn beyond
The applicant has control over that
Yeah.
site. We're talking here about an off-site signage
Well, they can,
on a public road that the applicant has no ability to
right, but they
control.
can, they can.
Now, we could, so maybe it's more along the lines of how we word it, right? We could say that the applicant has to petition the village board for placement of a no left turn sign. On coming off a wall onto, was it Main Street, right? And that gets more along the lines of what you're talking about which is typically, if there's a subsequent permitting process, we make the applicant do that. In fact, we've got conditions in the resolution already.
And we
that
would
do
do
that.
that.
And that so that would, the applicant's willing to do it, that would force the issue to the village board to make a determination, if that's what you're looking for.
I can tell you that in discussions with the mayor, that he's on board with doing that. Taking that recommendation to the board to prohibit a left turn from Wall Street onto Main Street. He's well aware, he's been following us as well as any of us have. And in fact, I think he brought it to the police chief's attention. And the police chief then wrote his letter saying that he recommended no left turn.
Yeah.
It's a non-starter to me.
Well, I mean,
And
we just want to make sure it happens. There's a board that has to ratify this, and there's somebody on the board could say that I don't want to have that restriction. So we're asking that the project sponsor to ask I mean, there's time here, I'm sure, before actually something is being constructed. To the next board meeting, the village can approve this,
Well,
knowing that it's a contingent, that this project go ahead, that they have to go and
Yeah, you can tell the applicant to petition the board, but the board still doesn't have to do it.
No, but
The way you put it, we can live with that. We're not gonna do anything that the chief of police has recommended we don't do. We're just not going to do that.
Right.
And if you wanna put the recommendation in, like you said, we can live with that.
Want to add that condition in, and it'll put that request in front of the village board, which is the appropriate entity to make that determination.
I think it's gonna have to happen, especially if there's, I mean, you could be waiting on that corner to turn whatever, to turn left for. If there's 4 cars, you could be there for 20 minutes. There's gonna be more than 4 cars, you know what I mean?
yeah, so what does it mean, by the way? I mean, anytime you go out that street.
You're going out that
Turn,
street,
You
you're
can't
going,
make any left turns on it.
you wouldn't be able to, I mean, now it's dangerous, and there's only like 2 of us leaving there.
I was gonna say it should be that way now.
It should be that way now. I mean, I can't imagine if you've got a wedding or a conference or something going on and you got like 15 cars leaving, you got Bev's employees leaving, you have their tenants leaving, that's gonna be a mess.
Let's,
you know?
let's put it in then. If they're, let's move along. If they're, if,
It's a valid
answer
point.
is-
I'm not trying to aggravate you. I just think it's a valid point.
if the entity was willing to do it, let's put it in there. Let's move on.
So there is a resolution that's been prepared. I'm gonna just pencil in a third condition here. That's gonna say the applicant. And I'll send you a typed up copy, separate. The applicant shall petition. Why don't we say mayor and village board. For a no left turn sign on the intersection of Wall Street and North Main Street.
And we'll do that.
Okay.
I mean, to be honest with you, we're probably not gonna do it there's no need to do it right away. We'll do it as it gets closer to the hotel. We're not gonna do it, next week.
Sure.
But we'll do it, because we have to, you know what I'm saying? We won't do it next week, but we'll do it as a construction progresses. We know we need to do it, we'll do it.
Okay.
But of course, we'll do it.
Okay, so. That covers that issue. Any other issues for discussion?
Yeah, I'm just so curious. So this map, it doesn't, with the red, doesn't appear on the site plan we looked at before. Do you know what this map is about with the red?
That might be an older copy. The one you should be looking at, we gave about 15 copies. It's dated October 23rd of 2025.
Is there something that was in the original packet?
Could
You're
be.
giving the whole breadth of the
Yeah,
project
but we
from
gave-
Dennis Stern.
I think you have it, don't
You
you?
get the
Bob?
main copy right there in front of.
I've got the copy that, so the application was dated that day. These plans here are dated, 9/9/2025. What's the date of this? Can you read that?
Oh, no.
I'll pick up the one.
We sent,
Oh, right, revised.
we sent the revised, I brought 15 of them up here.
Well, you just came in the packet now, you know.
No.
Good.
I can't make it out even with magnifying.
Well, I got this too. I mean, I picked it up at the office yesterday.
I don't, it's in here. I just saw it. I'm just trying to figure out where I put it.
Yeah.
Delivered,
I'm missing it.
I hand delivered 15 of these
I have one.
I have
of those.
dated October 23rd, 2025.
This is in this pack, that's right here.
I don't know where you got that at.
I don't think Mike was at the last meeting, so he probably have.
So this
If we
is
did.
what we gave at the meeting you weren't here. Now, do you want a copy of this?
Sure, yeah.
And that is what I have.
The resident being the copy
That same
date twice. It's one.
That's the one I've got here.
This is on October 23rd.
It's just that the particular plan, the site plan that he's looking at, the one included in that packet, I think is dated. Could be dated 9/9/25. If you look at L,
You have this one?
no, the first page here,
L 000.
right?
Right.
Is yours dated the same day?
You have, Ashley, you have one of those in your packet?
That little thing.
Yeah.
It's really, it's in the front of the packet.
Yeah, in fact, there's some on papers. I'm not.
So the packet is dated October 23rd, 2025. The site plan schematic here, L-000 is dated 9/9/25, and that's what I was talking about. Because I think that's also, the one you're asking about is also L-0000, is that right?
Yep.
Yes. Yes, and what's the date of that?
We can't read that one, but
Okay.
And I
it's
think
just not the same.
What caused the confusion is when we came here in August.
Yeah.
And the board said, geez, we'd really like Ann to consider going from 4 floors to 3 floors.
Yeah.
We consented, and then we did the final plan with the 3 floors, and it's dated October 23rd,
Yeah.
2025.
Okay.
Well, I can't see anything in here, so I don't know.
That's why we did,
The big plan.
that's why we did the big one. Once the board told us they thought it was good to go from 4 to 3.
Maybe there's. Yep, I know, yep. So if you're gonna enter through here,
This is the.
and then you're gonna exit through here, and this is all straight.
Yeah.
This is what they're talking about where the exits are. So that's the jet. I mean, based on the orientation, the river's back here, Wall Street's here. This is parking and the, right here, but this is the flood zone. And they moved the parking lot, they were gonna go back further, but they moved it here. Because I think of maybe runoff or something, I don't know, I can't remember.
That's an interesting map, but we don't have that in here. I mean, that shows the parking area. You have that in?
Well, it's this L 0
It's the first one.
0
Yeah, yeah. So you don't see parking on, why do you see parking on this?
Well.
This is.
Which is great, by the way.
Well, that would be part of the parking too, yeah.
Right.
But that's also the exit
Right.
under wall.
So I just think this package is.
We have this as the paid parking, green space, more parking here. We also made sure there was PDF forms of this map.
Right.
You want this out for your review?
But multiple packets that have all this information in it have been sent out.
Yep.
Numerous times. A long review, you might want to get to it.
Last time we done all the parking, you know, these spaces. and- Oh, my God.
C1 The C2 and 3.
Right. So that's what that red area is for parking and access. I think that was your question, what was the red area, right?
Yes.
Right, I think the relevance of that drawing was.
So maybe this gray area is the parking that's already currently there for, they put in the tour building down back here.
See your copy of this. Just more legible. L 000. This is a list of bad things. How come they're different? That's what I'm asking.
That's an earlier version that we have.
Yes.
No, this is the one I was talking about, this is the October 23rd one. Submission, it's just at the date of the.
The one that Mike has got is, looks like an older, a newer generation. It's a copy of the one that Bob has. Just take a look at the blue. The blue panel on Bob's,
Yeah,
And the blue panel on white is not as
yours
bad.
is fade, more faded, it looks like.
So it's probably a second generation from the original.
Copy of the copy.
But I guess the more relevant point is there anything in particular that's jumping out that is concerning in terms of the plan?
Can't tell, no.
See. That's. So we have any more discussion, any more comments on that? Or are we ready to go with it?
We're ready to move on.
Okay, so you want to do a seeker now?
Yes, let's do this.
Okay, this is the environmental review. You guys should have parts 1, 2, and 3 of the seeker documents, full environmental assessment form. And the applicant filled out part 1. And submitted that along with the application stated October 23rd. And so it's the the planning board's job to complete parts 2 and 3 of the environmental assessment form. Okay. So do you guys have parts 2 and 3 in front of you? Okay. And they might, I think they is it pre-filled out? Yeah.
Part 2 is filled out. yes.
Yeah, so these answers are pre-filled, but obviously it's the determination of the planning board to make this is intended to help guide through the process, okay? So you want me to?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. All right, so looking at part 2 of the FEAF, question number 1, impact on land. Proposed action may involve construction on or physical alteration of the land surface of the proposed site. Everyone comfortable with yes there? Everyone following me?
Can you tell me what page that is?
That's page
Page
1 of
one.
10.
1 of 10.
So you're gonna find the part 2 of the FEAF.
Yeah.
Full environmental assessment form.
Here, let me help you. Go ahead.
Well, she goes into that, this
It's
curious,
not in the.
they're completed part 1. The here, page 2. They answered this, is the
Yeah, I got
project
it.
site within a coastal area or the waterfront area of a designated inland waterway? They write, no, is that the case?
Yeah, that it's not a coastal resource area, right?
But it's a designated waterway.
It's not a designated inland waterway. No, that's, if you look at subsection I there, PI. Talks about coastal resources, so that this section is intended to correct coastal resources. So, yeah. Along the coast. Okay, so we're all at, the part 2 of the full environmental assessment form. Number 1, impact on land. Proposed action may involve construction on or physical alteration of the land surface of the proposed site. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so when there's a yes answer, we have to answer the sub questions. So this is going to 1A, the proposed action may involve construction on land where depth to water table is less than 3 feet.
The water table's 9.
9.5.
9.5 feet, yes.
Yep. Okay, so no there.
No or small, that's correct.
The proposed action may involve construction on slopes of 15% or greater.
That I think is a no, I think it's from section 1 or from part 1, the slopes are less than 10%.
That's correct. They provided that information in part 1 of the form. % of the site is on slopes 0 to 10%. Okay, so it's a no.
No,
C, the proposed action may involve construction on land where bedrock is exposed or generally within 5 feet of existing ground surface.
it's a no because I think that was the answer in part 1.
Right, depth of bedrock is 40 feet.
But there is bedrock at 40.
Okay, so we're all good there. We'll move on to D. Proposed action may involve the excavation and removal of more than 1,000 tons of natural material.
It's negative, I think it was.
Right.
This 0.25 is very big. Yeah, that's correct. Thank you.
So it's a no.
Yeah, it's enough.
we're on the proposed action may involve construction that continues for more than 1 year or in multiple phases.
I think it says 12 to 18 months.
So, well, it says 12 to 18 months, right?
Yeah,
And the question is whether it's gonna continue on for more than
more
1
than
year
1 year.
or in multiple phases. So here you're looking at,
This is moderate.
right, the fact that it's gonna go for a little bit more than a year, does that mean there's gonna be a moderate to large environmental impact as a result of that? And if you're comfortable with it being a small impact, you can check the no box there. Okay. All right, we're on F, proposed action may result in increased erosion, whether from physical disturbance or vegetation removal, including from treatment by herbicides.
There's an erosion plan, correct?
That's correct. Right.
Yeah, so it'd be small, no, or small, right?
Right.
Okay, and then G, the proposed action is or may be located within a coastal erosion hazard area. And then this. Okay. All right, so then we can move on to part 2 on page 2, impact on geological features. Proposed action may result in the modification or destruction of or inhibit access to any unique or unusual landforms on the site. No.
No.
Okay. So that means we can move to number 3, surface water. Proposed action may affect one or more wetlands or other surface water bodies.
No.
Yeah.
Right. That was their correspondence made it clear that they were staying away from wetlands and the water body. Right. Number 4, groundwater. Proposed action may result in new or additional use of groundwater or may have the potential to introduce contaminants to the groundwater or an aquifer.
It's a, it will result in new additional.
So so the proposed action may result in new or additional use of groundwater. That would be a no, just up to there, right? They're not using any groundwater for anything, are they?
Sure, that's what you're drinking.
They're not drinking, they're not pumping that water up. The proposed action may result in new or additional use of groundwater.
If you build a hotel, you're gonna use
You're gonna
more
use the
village
water.
water, that's groundwater.
And that's in here, it says
I mean, the
5,000.
aquifer and then it gets pumped up to the village tanks.
It's an increased use.
They will be using the groundwater from the aquifer that the municipality pulls in.
Right, yeah, indirectly like that, yes.
Okay, so if that's a yes, then we move on to the sub questions. A, proposed action may require new water supply wells or create additional demand on supplies from existing water supply wells.
That's why we were looking at a moderate impact, I would say, small. No or small impact on the wells. The demand.
This says 5,000 gallons a day. But then with the water work, what Newton says that they can handle this, so.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we're fine. Okay.
Exactly, yep. Okay, so that's no or small impact.
Right.
B, water supply demand for the proposed action may exceed safe and sustainable withdrawal capacity rate of the local supply or aquifer.
No,
The same analysis that you
Yeah.
just said. Right, so no or small impact there. C, the proposed action may allow or result in residential uses in areas without water and sewer service.
no,
No. Okay. D, proposed action may include or require wastewater discharged to groundwater.
no,
E, proposed action may result in the construction of water supply wells in locations where groundwater is or is suspected to be contaminated.
no,
F, proposed action may require the bulk storage of petroleum or chemical products over groundwater or an aquifer. G, proposed action may involve the commercial application of pesticides within 100 feet of a potable drinking or irrigation source. Okay. So those are all no's. So when we move on to number 5, flooding, proposed action may result in development on land subject to flooding. Okay. So with yes, we'll go to the sub questions. A, proposed action may result in development in a designated floodway.
I think there's no intent as far as the floodway,
Right. This is not in the floodway.
but it's in the 100-year flood. We're going to, I'm jumping ahead, but. So in the floodway itself, there is no development.
Exactly.
Correct.
It's adjacent but not within the designated floodway. So that's no. Proposed action may result in development within a 100-year floodplain.
That is. Small impact.
Right, so that is true. This is within the 100 year floodplain. And I assume all of the downtown is within the 100-year floodplain.
And obviously, we're gonna, anything we do, we have to do with proper.
Right.
Requirements.
Yeah, the building's gotta be built.
Well aware of that.
It's gonna be elevated in certain portions.
Well, it right, and that was part of the design. It says it was only about 1 to 2 feet on the southeast corner of the buildings within the 100-year floodplain. And it says the finished floor is approximately 3 feet above the flood elevation.
They pretty much designed it to stay pretty much out of there.
Exactly. That's what I did. Okay, so nowhere small impact there. And proposed action may result in development within a 500-year floodplain.
Somewhere small.
D, proposed action may result in or require modification of existing drainage patterns.
From away. Small, if any.
Okay. E, proposed action may change flood water flows that contribute to flooding. F, if there's a dam located on the site of the proposed action, is the dam in need of repair or upgrade?
There's no big.
All right, 6 is air. Proposed action may include a state regulated air emission source. Number 7, plants and animals. The proposed action may result in a loss of flora or fauna. Number 8, agriculture. Proposed action may impact agricultural resources. 9, aesthetics. Land use of the proposed action are obviously different from or are in sharp contrast to current land use patterns between a proposed project and scenic or aesthetic resource.
I mean, some people at the public meeting brought that up as an issue, but I don't see it as an issue.
I think along with that, if I can be heard, is that we already had our meeting, our initial meeting with SHPO, and of course, we have to do whatever SHPO is supposed to be protecting the historic downtown district. So obviously, anything, if this site plan is approved, one of your conditions, of course, and telling you, so it has to be, we have to do whatever SHPO tells us we have to do.
I mean, you want could put down yes and then have like, and have no or small impact. You know, I mean, it is being reviewed, people brought it up as an issue. Land use, the land use of the proposed action. Or says are obviously different from or are in sharp contrast with it.
I think those are the key phrases, obviously different from or sharp contrast to the current land use patterns.
It's like putting the Guggenheim Museum in New York City there, that would be sharp contrast.
Yeah.
We're not quite doing that here, right?
We are not.
We're not.
So nowhere's good, knows good.
Okay, no. All right, number 10 is historic archaeological resources. The proposed action may occur in or adjacent to a historic or archaeological resource.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So we'll answer the sub questions. A, proposed action may occur wholly or partially within or substantially contiguous to any buildings, archaeological site or district which is listed on the National or State Register of Historic Places, or that has been determined by the Commissioner of SHPO to be eligible for a listing on the State Register of Historic Places.
No, small.
Small impact.
Okay, small impact there. The proposed action may occur wholly or partially within or substantially contiguous to an area designated as sensitive for archaeological sites on the SHPO archaeological site inventory.
No.
Okay. C, proposed action may occur wholly or partially within or substantially contiguous to an archaeological site not included on its civil. Um, Okay, E here, right?
11.
So we're going to 11 because we had.
Oh, okay, yes, all right, so E is only if you answered moderate to large, so. Moving on to open space recreation, 11, proposed action may result in a loss of recreational opportunities. Or reduction of an open space resource as designated in any adopted municipal open space plan. 12, CEA, proposed action may be located within an or adjacent to a critical environmental area.
No.
12 is transportation, proposed action may result in a change of existing transportation systems. Okay, that's a yes. So we'll go to the sub questions. A, proposed traffic. Projected traffic increases may result in capacity of existing road network. I'm sorry, projected traffic increase may exceed capacity of existing road network.
Small impact if any. Small won't exceed the capacity. The roads, the road network continues with traffic.
Okay, small impact, and we're imposing that condition to do the left-hand turn, and the chief. has
Depends on
issued
which
that
road you're
letter.
talking. I mean, North Main, I don't think is a small impact, but I think Little Tiny Wall Street is a pretty moderate impact.
It's talking about the road network, so I think we're looking at. the
Not
road
specific,
network as a
the
whole.
whole network is proposed.
Right.
Okay, so we're looking at a small impact there.
You think it's large?
I've said my piece about Wall Street, so I don't think I'm.
Well, I wanted to, I don't, we will, I don't want to try to alleviate your
Yeah.
concern. And that's why I told your attorney about, we will consent to that level. We will do that.
Right.
And I know that's your concern, we will do that. And please, put it in as a recommendation,
Yeah.
because we will do that.
Right, so the road network is what it is, right? There's no way to create additional roads or expand the
Okay.
roads because it's an already developed site. Or a developed neighborhood,
Mhm.
right? So I think we're looking at. Can this result in a moderate to large adverse environmental impact?
Okay, I
Um,
get you on that end, okay.
yeah, I mean, you can add uses which may increase traffic. But I think it's really that distinction of whether it's gonna be moderate to large adverse
Okay.
environmental impact.
No, and your point's well taken, that's
Okay.
why we're gonna do it.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
Okay, so B, proposed action may result in the construction of paved parking area for 500 or more vehicles.
No,
I can get that many, right?
no.
Okay. C, proposed action will degrade existing transit access. D, proposed action will degrade existing pedestrian or bicycle accommodations. And E, proposed action may alter the present pattern of movement of people or goods.
Yep.
Okay, 14 is energy. Proposed action may cause an increase in the use of any form of energy.
Yes.
Yep, it will. Okay, so A, proposed action will require a new or an upgrade to an existing substation. No. The proposed action will require the creation or extension of an energy transmission or supply system to serve more than 50 single, two-family residences or to serve a commercial or industrial use. 'No. 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 'No.
No.
They're not, creating a new energy transmission supply system.
No.
C is proposed action may utilize more than 2,500 megawatt hours per year of electricity.
Like you.
They addressed it in part.
It was addressed in Parliament.
And Fran, is there any thought of putting in EV chargers on this property?
There is. There is. Not only that, there has been some thought of putting in some EV chargers, yes.
It'd be very smart to do that.
Another well taken point. We've already had. No, to be perfectly, honest, just to let you know, a little bit of aside, there has been some discussions. Matter of fact, I think we, a few months ago, had some discussions about that. It would just be the question of where they located. But we've had some discussions about that.
Be a smart business move. People look to for accommodations where they can.
We've had discussions about that.
And the two chargers we have here are full all the time.
So their proposal says the estimated annual electricity demand is 584,000 amps, which is less than 2,500 megawatt hours per year. But
Even with EV chargers.
yeah, I mean, those are part of the total. Analysis. In fact, I think the EV chargers were part of the original proposal, right?
Yeah. I know for a fact, obviously Dan has one that needs an EV charger. And I remember somehow when we were having a discussion about the boutique hotel, that it would be a good idea for the guests to have EV chargers. I wish Alton was here, but I know there's been some discussion, and I think it's gonna happen, that there'll probably be some EV chargers there. I just don't know, don't ask me the exact location, but I know there's been some discussion about that.
I'm just curious, is that a contingency that we could put in there?
Other than to have the EV chargers. Remember, we're a land use board here regulating the use of the property. And I think I view that more of a business decision from the applicant as to whether or not they want to accommodate that for their customers. I don't think that's a requirement we can place on them from a land use perspective. Right, we're talking about landscaping and lighting and access and parking, those things. But not about what kind of energy they should provide to their customer vehicles. Now, a code, like the code could say that, if the law said that, if the zoning code said that, we can enforce that. But I don't think that requirement's not in the zoning code.
I'm taking.
Okay, so we're on D, proposed action may involve heating and or cooling of more than 100,000 square feet of building area when completed. Okay, but you know.
No.
Wait, are we on 15?
Starting 15.
Starting 15. Proposed action may result in an increase in noise, odors, or outdoor lighting.
Yes.
Yes. A proposed action may produce sound above noise levels established by local regulation. No. The proposed action may result in blasting within 1,500 feet of any residence, hospital, school, licensed daycare, or nursing home. No. C, proposed action may result in routine odors for more than 1 hour per day. D, proposed action may result in light shining onto adjoining properties.
No, I think that's addressed.
Small.
Yeah, I think
They
it was
addressed
addressed.
it as in the design phases, like lighting, the cutout lighting and.
Dark sky compliant, they call it. That was addressed in our first or second meeting. But yeah. E is the proposed action may result in lighting, creating sky glow brighter than existing area conditions. 16, human health. Proposed action may have an impact on human health from exposure to new or existing sources of contaminants. 17, community plans. Proposed action is not consistent with adopted land use plans. 18 is community character. Proposed project is inconsistent with the existing community character.
No.
Right, so that completes part 2 of the FEAF. We then move on to part 3. See on the bottom there, the type 1 action, we've got parts 1, 2, and 3 that we're completing there. And there are the 3 boxes, A, B, and C. This project will result in no significant adverse impact on the environment, and therefore an environmental impact statement need not be prepared. Accordingly, this negative declaration is issued. B is if, although this project could have a significant adverse impact on the environment, that impact will be avoided or substantially mitigated because of the following conditions. And then C is where you have identified large or moderate impact, negative impacts, and you're requiring them to prepare environmental impact statements.
We concur that A is the right answer.
Okay. Alright. And so there is a narrative that's included. I don't think we need to go through it word by word, but this is a notice of determination of significance. If you guys have this in the package. There's a standard that the chairman and I have discussed earlier. It's called the Harbor standard under seeker. That we have to make sure that we are addressing all the potential adverse or potentially adverse impacts, and this document intends to do. Okay. Did you want to read through all this or?
No. Last hand.
Okay. Exactly, it documents in narrative form the analysis that we just done.
I guess I have one other question, which I'm not hoping to bear, I just wanna know, so, what time does like Dashers in the Exchange close? I mean, when it's talking about noise and stuff, this is still like a neighborhood. Is there gonna be like bands and music and? Do you know what I'm saying, like,
Hotel?
yeah, at a hotel, like, is it gonna be like 11 o'clock at night and nobody can
No,
put their
I
kids to
don't
bed?
think there's going to be,
Okay,
I don't think there's going to be bands at the hotel.
okay, well,
No,
I could be having a wedding
I
and a
don't
party
think
and
there's gonna
party.
be bands at the hotel.
Okay,
Believe me.
okay, I just know how,
Matter of fact, I know, I can tell you this, Paul, we have to talk with the state. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
We have to talk with the state about, you know, how many employees and we're gonna have and things like
okay,
that. It looks like to me the late night overnight is gonna be relatively quiet.
okay, all right. That was all,
No, it's fine. It's a good
because I
question.
mean, it's
Good
just
question.
because, you know. I would know how it feels. I live across from the Center for the Arts, so I know how it feels to live in a situation where things are rowdy after.
Paul, you probably know better than me, I don't even know what time the exchange closes.
I don't know either, so I just didn't know, like, you
I
know,
think it's 9 or 10 or something. It's
Okay.
9 o'clock, I don't even know.
so I'm just saying this is a reasonable question. If Dashers closes at 11, the neighborhood's already used to people being out. You know what I'm saying, or walking around, you know, blah, 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 that's.
Everything that I know so far in talking with the people that we're dealing with about how you arrange a hotel, is I don't think there's gonna be a lot of activity.
Okay.
That night, especially overnight. I mean, the guests may be coming in, but I don't think you're gonna be seeing a lot of live music and that kind of
There's
stuff.
not gonna be any bad parties, is what you're saying.
There will
Well,
probably be
bachelorette
weddings.
party, maybe not, no bachelor party, bachelorette.
Two Paul, I think you're raising a good point.
Yeah.
It's gonna be incumbent upon us to control the situation
Yeah.
too. We will.
Okay,
Their application does say that their hours of operations are 6 a.m. to 11 p.m.
okay,
Now, obviously, a hotel is 24 hours,
Obviously,
just like, but they do have some limit on their hours of operation.
It's choking.
Very good. I don't know what I'm doing. I got it.
okay, I'm just saying that it's still like a neighborhood, people are, you know, there's some pretty nice houses around there, I would be. A little irritated if, you know,
We will try our very, very best to be a good.
don't call me over there, Frank, don't call me over there.
Be a good neighbor.
Right.
You better get some water.
I don't know what I'm joking.
Probably your own spit.
I-
It's happened. No, like seriously, that happens to me all the time. It's a, do you just swallow wrong?
I'm trying to be quiet. That's what I.
You're doing a great job.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, so that brings us to the resolution. So we've completed the seeker environmental review. It brings us to the resolution. And again, if you want to read through it, or you want to, everyone,
We're okay.
okay. Everyone's looked at it. There are 2 conditions that are typed into the document. I've added a third by hand, the one that we've previously gone over. I'll send that to Dan tomorrow with a typed up version.
The left turn is the add-on, right?
That's correct.
And then what are your other two conditions?
The first condition is the applicant shall satisfy all requirements established by the Cortland County
Yep.
Planning Board Resolution 25-46. And number 2 is the applicant shall obtain approval from SHPO
Yep.
prior to commencing construction.
Absolutely.
Entertaining a motion, I'm happy to move that.
Motion made by. Made by Mike. Second,
I'll say.
Ashley,
I'll see.
all in favor?
I,
Motion carried. Another approval.
Probably what I'm gonna need, which you would know, then, but we have to do that for the same.
Yep. Okay.
But anyway,
So we will sign.
thank you for the water.
There's water.
What's that? No, no. Exactly. I was trying to pull past.
You got, need to approve the minutes of the last meeting. And November 20th and December 1. Motion?
I will make a motion.
Yes.
Second.
All in favor?
I
Okay. And our next meeting is the. Yeah, when's our next meeting? The 24th
My fourth Thursday is in January.
Thursday in January.
All meetings now Thursday, 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
7, not
So.
7:30. I'm sorry. See you soon.
I'm nervous now.
I get so nervous, I'm like, is it really 6
I-
o'clock and it's some other mountain time, what's happening here?
They actually do the site plan approval
Yeah,
itself.
motion to adjourn. So just before we adjourn, just to clarify what the motion was. So the motion was to approve this resolution, right? And the resolution is issuing a negative declaration under the State Environmental Quality Review Act. And issuing a site plan approval for the Sherman House Hotel and Spa project. That's what was voted on.
Yes.
Three contingencies.
Okay, before we adjourn, can I ask another question without poking a bear? I thought we were supposed to do something about verbiage and stuff. I've been like going through all this stuff, reading this verbiage, where it's just like,
Zoning. Oh, right?
Yeah.
Yes, right.
That's gonna be,
That's going back to one. Let's put it this
Going back
way.
to
Grant,
So we're gonna go do a whole other process going back to one with Fran's new protege in the house. So there'll be another presentations of sorts, there'll be another information.
Okay.
The one specific thing that we all will have to agree on. For the code says the planning board will report. We have to determine and everyone understand what exactly the meaning of a report
Okay,
is.
Yes,
So that's something that we'll have to discuss.
okay.
yeah, well, it's in the code, right? And we're looking at, it's, I find it on 228-52. Says the village board of trustees may from time to time on its own motion or by recommendation or petition of the planning board amend, supplement, change, modify, or repeal the regulations and provisions of this chapter following a public hearing in accordance with law. Each such proposed amendment or change shall be referred to the planning board for report thereon before the public hearing provided above. So that's what the word report that you just mentioned.
That's right.
First of all, am I reading the correct
Yes.
thing? So this is gobbledygook to me. I don't know, Fran, what your advice is. And report thereon. Is that looking for approval?
going
What?
back, well, what you're gonna wanna do, you're gonna wanna report, hopefully, you're gonna report with your approval, but it's gonna be prior to a public, you're probably gonna have to have another public hearing.
We're doing our public hearing and
Read that.
again, as the word report doesn't necessarily mean approve. Yes, we all want to be on the same page, I think. School Board of Trustees and the code book, that is the governing authority. But what kind of, is the report going to be a document? Is it just gonna be a simple resolution? Is it just gonna be a simple vote? That's the discussions we will have before any and all steps are taken.
So, Paula said she went through it too. I went through, spent 4 or 5 hours on this. And my feeling is that to get us involved and to have the understanding of how to report on it, the new code should be put up on the screen. And we need to follow maybe in a number of sessions, I would say, because it's so time consuming, what the existing thing is.
I'll try to stop right there, Mike. The planning board chair, myself, the deputy mayor at the time, and the code officer, did a multi-year
I
thing,
heard,
but
I
that,
heard
so,
that
but as
before.
far as the presentation of the exact things, all the things of the code, that's most likely is not going to happen.
Okay, then
Are you
I'll
talking
tell you,
about
I'll tell you
multi-session?
now that I can't review it. Because I went through it and I got a lot of questions. Definitions were dropped. I can tell you these different things. I would ask, why was this definition of dump removed? Why was the definition of the developers or common open space removed? These aren't complicated things. I would just like.
Yeah, they're not complicated things. They were, a lot of changes were made in the code, but basically to get it out of the 19th century or early 20th century that it was and bring it into the 21st century. And the chief thing to doing this code or revamp and review is to get it digitally, to get it online, so it's accessible to all of us and to all residents when we go through that. That's the chief, that was the chief concern of getting all this done, so it can be a nice digital
So
copy.
that's why you can bring it up on the screen there, section by section. And if anybody has any questions, we can
The
go.
Board of Trustees can entertain that motion, but I can tell you that as far as my counsel, I would recommend against that because we've already gone down the road of multi-year reviews
This would,
of this code book. So, but to have the planning board basically do it all over
we're
again.
not doing it all over again. It's called a review.
You just said,
As
you
opposed
said
to
multi-session.
A rubber stamp operation.
Yeah,
That's what you're asking us to
That's
do.
not what I'm asking
That's
for,
what you're
sir.
asking us to do. If we can't
Okay.
get into it and look at the nitty gritty, like Paula said, I started looking at it. I looked at it. If I can't ask any questions, to have a feeling of understanding of, to get an answers to why some of these changes were made, we're a rubber stamp. Well, so my motion would be that we've looked at it, we've heard about how it was constructed, but we have no comment about its quality.
Well,
Can't approve it.
why don't we do this? Obviously, there were some things that needed to be addressed, and we're going to address them. So why don't we take some time here? Does everyone have now the new code? You have the new code. So why don't we, see in the intervening time, I think we're not doing this for another, for the
So,
January.
we're, like I said, back to one, it's gonna be a nice long process.
Let's
See what we
see
do next
if
year.
we can get this back to square one, and I think to answer your question, Mike, I think there'll be more time for you to look at the code, compare it to the old code. There'll be a public hearing before you have to give your report. And I think there'll be plenty of time for you, and there'll probably be adequate ways, it may not be the way that you're suggesting, it may be, but we can certainly try to do some things to address your concerns. Okay?
I think that requesting board members to individually review the code and the changes without discussion is asking too much of each member of the board. And that the best way to do it is to put the new code up there and just do it as a discussion, as a group. We ask questions about why some of these changes were made.
Well,
If you want to have a approval.
why don't we do this? Since I will take that into consideration, and let's see where we go after the new year, and we can go from there.
I appreciate the transparency of this board, and everything is documented and recorded, and will be in the minutes, and has been on the YouTube page for everyone to notice, to seeing how things get done. Yeah, how the sausage gets made, so I appreciate that highly from this board, thank you.
I'd like to also discuss how public hearings are advertised in this day and age without, well, I don't know, how are they advertised? We had 2 people show up for the last public hearing. It's pretty sparse. How are they advertised?
Well, we don't take 30-second spots on TV. You are charged with advertising the newspaper record, which is Cortland Standard. You only have to advertise it once. However, we have gone above and beyond that with certain public hearings to do 2 or 3 times in a row. We've done it, but you're only required once. And every ZBA public hearing, every public hearing from this planning board, every public hearing in local law that the Board of Trustees have done has been advertised ad nauseum in the Cortland Standard.
Is it on our website too, village website?
It's on the website and everything else when the meeting notices are at. So all the notices are there. Planning board meeting is gonna have a public hearing, it's up. ZBA meeting, public hearing, it's up. Board of Trustees is public meeting, it's gonna have a public hearing, it's up. All the information, packets and information and agenda items are listed.
Is it possible to put it in the Homer News, which is free and distributed to every mailbox?
I can tell you the Board of Trustees is looking at their advertising dollars as is with regards to as a budget number. That may be overkill that the Board of Trustees does not want to do because we're only required to put it in the Cortland Standard. And the Homer News, actually, I can back that up. Homer News is not the paper record, only the Cortland
I'm
Standard.
not saying it would be in it as an alternative. I was just saying that if it's,
Let me find out how much it would cost, to put something
But-
into the home.
by the way, I also saw it on the news, WXHC,
Yeah.
the day after the public hearing, I believe.
I was just
So
gonna
you-
ask
you-
if the radio could just announce it, if Jack would, if they would,
Yeah, all this costs money. So.
I didn't know.
So that's, you're seeing it afterwards because they came to the public hearing and they're reporting on it. That's all that the radio station is charged with reporting on the public hearing. That's why it's the day after, I would assume. But advertising, will tell you, going through all the budget, the advertising dollars that this village does is quite high. And some of the trustees during the budget session, well, I think we need to slash that because it's just too much.
You could make the case that the planning board, at least one member made a recommendation that the.
More than happy to, more than happy to.
Does the village have a social media account?
Don't get me started on that one. There is a Facebook page, no longer, the village has no longer access to it because it was started by folks that aren't here anymore. So we're looking into perhaps basically restart doing a new Facebook page, shutting that, getting that one down, and it's, just out there and no one goes to it anymore, and directing people to a new one. The village clerk will not be doing anything with Facebook, but others in the village office may be doing it. I'll tell you that right now. Any other questions, concerns?
Did we adjourn?
You have not adjourned?
I move that we adjourn.
Second? Ashley?
Yes.
All in